Hey y'all, it's Kim. So the darling of the Democrat Party, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, is being brought back to the United States, and in just a minute we're going to look at basically the charges against him from Tennessee. I haven't read through the entire thing, but we'll go through it line by line because I want to see what's in there. But this was uploaded to here to this document cloud thing by CNN. This was on Friday. So anyway, but the charges obviously came in May 21st, but we're just now seeing the actual court docs. But anyway, so it says breaking: the convicted human trafficker who owned the van driven by deported MS-13 gang member Kilmar Abrego Garcia has reportedly told DOJ officials that he paid Garcia to transport illegal aliens from Texas to the country. This is the Maryland man that Democrats have been fighting for. Yep. Too bad they don't fight that hard for their own constituents. Rachel Morin's mother, I believe, lives in, I don't know her name, maybe Patty Morin in Maryland, and nobody's from that I know of, that Van Hollen dude never went to visit her, offer condolences, or any of that stuff. Kilmar Abrego Garcia's wife freezes and refuses to answer why she asked for a protective order against him in 2021. And if you know anything about that, he beat her up. I think the sister called the police.
You did take out a temporary order of protection against your husband in 2021. Were you in fear of your husband?
Wow.
Husband is alive. That's all I can say.
Okay, then I'm not going to push on that apparently. But how
Yeah.
much hope? I have to ask it.
Wow. So she doesn't want to say. And then it says in 2019, Kilmar Abrego Garcia claimed that he feared persecution by the 18th Street Gang if he were removed to El Salvador because that gang had previously extorted his mother's pupusa business. In reality, he was MS-13 and had murdered an 18th Street Gang member's mother. So let's see. Testimonial evidence presented. The respondent is a 24-year-old native of El Salvador. He was born in 1995 in Los Nogales neighborhood, San Salvador, El Salvador. The respondent testified that he fears returning to his country because the Barrio 18 gang was targeting him and threatening him with the death of his family's pupusa business. The respondent's mother, Cecilia, ran the business out of her home. Although the business had no formal storefront, everyone in town knew that to get the pupusas from Pupuseria. Cecilia, the respondent's father, brother, and two sisters all helped run the family business. The respondent's job was to go to the grocery store to buy the supplies needed for the pupusas, and then he and his brother would do deliveries 4 days a week to the people in, I guess I'm probably the neighborhood. That's all I know. Oh, it says El Salvadorian stuffed tortillas. That's what it says for the footnote down here. Anyway, people in, let's see. Hold on, where did it go? Okay, whatever. Mother of an 18th Street later, as part of an immigration proceedings in the United States, the defendant claimed he could not return to El Salvador because he was in fear of retribution from the 18th Street Gang. While partially true, the defendant, according to the information received by the government, was in fear of retaliation by the 18th Street Gang. The underlying reason for the retaliation was the defendant's own actions in participating in the murder of rival 18th Street Gang member's mother. So, anyway, that's from Will Chamberlain. Let's see. Step one, bring Kilmar Abrego Garcia back to the United States. Step two, convict Garcia for human trafficking in front of America. Step three, begin putting together midterm campaign videos of Democrats defending a convicted trafficker. Step four, expand House and Senate with said videos. Sounds like a good plan to me. Let's see. MSNBC cut away from Trump's speech when he started revealing who Kilmar Abrego Garcia was. They don't want anyone to hear the truth. You know what to do. Let's see. We'll go ahead and repost this, and then let's listen to this.
Photos have emerged of Senator Van Hollen sipping what appears to be margaritas with Abrego Garcia down in El Salvador. Do you encourage other Democrats to fly down to El Salvador to meet with this illegal alien who's an accused wife beater?
I like this guy. See, now this is the kind of what we like. There aren't enough of them. We got to get some more of them. But no, I appreciate that question. No, look, he's a fake. I know them all. They're all fake, and they have no interest in that prisoner. That prisoner's record is unbelievably bad. If you would go into the room, you might, if you would, Caroline, maybe go into the room and see if you can find that little slip. I wrote some things down. I don't know why you'd want to keep them, but I just got a little biography of him. Not a very innocent guy. Yeah.
On IRS.
Mr. President,
On
in the spirit of Easter Sunday. And
While we're on the
Friday.
subject, right?
Yes, of course.
So you're talking about Abrego Garcia. Is that the one? Yeah. He's an illegal alien MS-13 gang member and foreign terrorist. This comes out of the State Department and very legitimate sources. I assume I'm just giving you what they handed to me, but this was supposed to be certified stuff. In 2019, Garcia was issued a deportation order. Two separate judges affirmed Garcia was a member of MS-13, which is a gang that may be even worse than Tren de Aragua. Maybe worse. They kill people with knives because it's more painful. Very famous for the knifing and killing of two young 16-year-old girls walking to school one day, and they sliced them up into little pieces and killed them. That's MS-13. And two separate judges affirmed Garcia was a member of MS-13. When Garcia was originally arrested, he was wearing a sweatshirt with rolls of money pouring out, an MS-13 gang symbol that he was driving with two other known violent MS-13 gang members, two of the most violent members that we know of in the MS-13 gang of thugs. In 2022, Garcia was stopped by the Tennessee Highway Patrol, who was found to be transporting 7 people from Texas to Maryland, and he had no driver's license. He was driving violently. In 2020 and 2021, Garcia's wife filed for a protective order from him and said he was violent and abusive and really scary, including allegations that he punched and scratched her on the eye, left her bleeding after throwing her laptop on the floor at her, ripped her shirt, and ripped off her shorts. He then grabbed her arm, leaving very severe marks. Garcia's wife also wrote in court, "At this point, I am afraid to be close to him. I just don't want to be close. I have multiple photos and videos how violent he can be and all of the bruises that he's left on me." She just couldn't get anywhere near him. This is the man that the Democrats are wanting us to fly back from El Salvador to be a happily ensconced member of the USA family. Isn't it a shame? And by the way, I've been hit pretty hard by fake shows, fake news, MSDNC in particular, where they talk about how evil I am, that this man would be thrown out of our country. This man
is a monster.
According to certified statements that we get, is a very violent person. And they want this man to be brought back into our country where he can be free and to stay as a happily Maryland, call him the Maryland man, the Maryland father. No, he's a violent person. Who they don't talk about is that wonderful angel mom who lost her daughter,
Patty Morin.
5 beautiful children, and she was killed violently. And she spoke unbelievably. I saw it, and the fake news didn't pick it up. She spoke. She's in tears. She's devastated. Her life is, essentially, she told me her life is like over. But it's like, I think no stories. Isn't that true? No stories. 0 stories. It was the most emotional thing. Everybody that watched it, they couldn't believe it. The fake news refused to put it up. So it's very sad. And yet they talk about this guy like he's an angel. See the angel up there? I think he's like that.
Do you encourage other Democrats to visit?
Would you be open to?
It has no impact. But no impact. It's just like unbalanced when you do it. Go ahead. What
Sir, on a
Shut down. Anyway, like it says, congratulations, lefties. Kilmar Abrego Garcia is coming back to the United States to face his federal indictment on human trafficking. Well done. And then Democrats have chosen a human trafficker as their hero. Kilmar Abrego Garcia was a suspect in a human trafficking operation in 2022. State trooper, he's hauling these people for money. Let's listen to this.
Every day, another shoe drops on the Maryland dead. He was a suspect in a human trafficking operation dating back 3 years. And Fox Digital just got their hands on the body cam. But you're seeing it here first. Tennessee Highway Patrol stopped Kilmar for speeding and noticed he had 8 other people in the car. All no luggage. Take a look.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
Good, and you? All right. Anything good?
You got a bunch of people here, don't you?
1%. Yes. Go back to work.
Gotcha. Where are you working at?
Where?
Where?
San Luis, Missouri.
Missouri?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I'm from Maryland.
Well, where do y'all live at?
Where are you? I live in
Maryland?
Yeah, also.
Whose vehicle is it? Whose car is it?
It's for my boss.
Boss. Where's he live? Where's your boss live?
My boss right now is staying in Maryland, but he lives in Texas.
Okay.
After talking to Kilmar, the officers had no doubt he was trafficking.
You know what you got here, right?
He's hauling these people for money. You got an ass hauler, is what he's doing. So sometimes they commingle open. Eight people. Yeah. So he's getting paid all this, probably in Maryland, I would say. I guess. So let me ask you this: they don't have any luggage in there, right? And if you get them out, they're gonna have toothpaste and they're gonna have toothbrushes in their pockets. I guarantee you.
Yeah. He's got $1,400 cash in his pocket in an envelope.
In the video, you can see one of the cops making a phone call. The body cam audio cuts out for 10 minutes. Sources told us that on that call was Joe Biden's FBI, which advised police not to detain Kilmar at the time. That source also tells us Highway Patrol called Biden's ICE, and they never showed up. Biden's guys said an MS-13 gangster, suspected human smuggler and wife beater, released into the country. God knows what he did and was never caught for before Trump deported him. Prime time will keep digging and keep you posted when we find more.
Pretty sad. Okay, and then never forget, the same Chris Van Hollen that voted no on the Lake and Riley Act is fighting for illegal alien MS-13 member, human and child trafficking, and women abusing Kilmar Abrego Garcia, and Democrats hate America. Yes, they do. And the holy shit Dems will wish they never supported Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Pam Bondi, there are even more disturbing facts that the grand jury uncovered. It is alleged this defendant is part of the same smuggling ring responsible for the death of more than 50 migrants in 2021. Let's listen to this.
There are even more disturbing facts that the grand jury uncovered. It is alleged this defendant is part of the same smuggling ring responsible for the death of more than 50 migrants in 2021 after the tractor trailer overturned in Mexico. This is part of that same ring. The defendant abused undocumented alien females, according to co-conspirators who were under his control while transporting them throughout our country. This defendant trafficked firearms and narcotics throughout our country on multiple occasions. They were using vehicles, SUVs, with added seats in the back, floors that had been ripped out, guns, narcotics, children, women, MS-13 members. That is what the grand jury found. A co-conspirator alleged that the defendant solicited nude photographs and videos of a minor. A co-conspirator also alleges the defendant played a role in the murder of a rival gang member's mother. These facts demonstrate Abrego Garcia is a danger to our community. We want to thank the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, our state and local partners, our acting U.S. Attorney Robert McGuire, and prosecutors from the Joint Task Force Vulcan.
So this guy, Jamie, I call him Jamie Ratskin. Oh, he's just insufferable. But they're all these male Democrats, especially, they just like there's something like fundamentally wrong with them. There's something about them. I can't stand it. It's one thing to be a female and be a Democrat. These people are just insufferable. But let's look at this. It says Jamie Ratskin is now claiming that Democrats never defended Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Here's one of the many times Ratskin himself defended Garcia. So this is April 18th. Let's watch this one first.
She especially focused on the idea that Democrats defended Kilmar Abrego Garcia, even though he, of course, is alleged to have committed these crimes. Do you think that Democrats risk politically playing into the president's hands by focusing on this case?
First of all, I don't know of a single Democrat who defended him. He was falsely arrested and removed from the country. So now they're making up all this stuff about MS-13. Or, let's say he was responsible for the January 6th attack and he coordinated the assault on 140 police officers. They're making up things against a guy who's never been prosecuted, much less convicted of anything criminal.
She especially focused on the idea that...
Hold on, let me stop that. Okay, I'm going to stop it here. I'm going to get back into these charges. Like, we'll go through the whole indictment because it's 10 pages. I just don't want it to cut off in the middle. So there'll be 2 videos about this creep. And we'll just kind of keep trucking on from there. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.